Hello, my name's Jack, and welcome to the very first episode of Sporemon. This is going to be a little video series I'm going to do in order to just document my range of creations that I've made in this game called Spore. So basically, what this first episode is going to be is I'm going to tell you how it works, how the system I've created works, things like that, and then next episode we'll be started in actually exploring all these creations that I've made. So you can see here, this is where you can browse all of the creations. We are at 1,160 currently, which I know is a lot, and it's still certainly a work in progress. It'll only grow as time moves on. But let's scroll right down here to the bottom where we're going to start. I'm going to be going from my first creations to my last once I actually start diving into each individual monster. But for the purposes of this first video, I'm going to use Glacie's Pez here as a bit of an example. So each creation has a name. Some of them are based off of Latin, and some of them are based off of just combining random words, basically how regular Pokemon works. And then they'll also have their typing, a full list of stats, an ability, and then a tag. Now, the general idea for these monsters is that I am basically just making a bunch of my own kind of Pokemon in Spore. I call them Sporemon. And the stats certainly work similar to Pokemon. The typings are almost all the same, the only difference being there's no normal type, and instead it's replaced with the cosmic type. So to begin explaining how it all works, first of all, you can see here the sizes are comparable. I'm all the way zoomed out, meaning that you can compare how large this is to the other creations, and that's actually accurate to how different of size they would be. And now going over here to the description, you can see first is always the type. This is an ice and water type. The first type is always the primary type, with the secondary type coming after. So this is a primary ice type with a secondary water type. And then you can see the stats. The stats are based on a system of 0 to 200, and they're always increments of 5, just to make it really just a little simpler. And you can see here, this is a prime example of something that is 50 HP. This is a very benchmark Sporemon for its size. And then basically to give a rundown of how the stats work, HP is pretty much size, it's how much health the creature has. Attack is how much physical damage they can muster, so usually how strong they are, what kind of physical weaponry they have, that sort of thing. Defense, which is the D here, is represented by like physical armor, so how tough their skin is, if they have actual armor, that sort of thing. Sometimes also it can be a more defensive versus offensive sort of stance. That's something you'll see eventually in some of the later designs. Next would be special attack, which is the stat that really rates how well the creature can use things like magic or attacking with their mind, like how they can conjure things in their environment, how they can wield their element to their benefit. And special defense is basically just intelligence, and it's how well they can resist special attacks. Just like how defense is how well they can resist physical attacks, special defense is how well they can resist special attacks. And then moving on to the last stat, which is speed, which is very simple. It's just how fast they can move, usually how fast they can run, and a higher speed would let them move first if there were a battle. Spore is pretty simple. You can't actually like face them against each other or anything like that. It's really only for designing them, which is, sort of unfortunate, but it's just working with what I got here. And then last in the description area will be their ability. Now some of them have multiple. This one is a pretty simple one. He only has one, and it's basically just a special thing that they can do when they're in battle. For example, one has an ability called Ice Sheet, which covers the ground in ice and gives priority to ice-type moves. Priority basically meaning if he uses an ice-type move, that's a better chance it'll go first, even if he's slower. And then finally, there's always a tag. Doesn't matter too much. It's very simple. just a very just simple descriptor of what it is. It can help me search for them, that sort of thing. And yeah, I think that is a pretty good rundown of how it works. There's also the system of evolutions. You can see Glacies Pez here evolves into Glaceodon, its second form. Its stats are better, its abilities usually better. It definitely gets bigger. A lot of them have evolutions, not all of them though. And that's basically how it all works. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to begin the first episode next where I actually dive into these first 10, and I'll see you there.